So right now, a lot of our plants are like dying out, especially a lot of the tomatoes, squashes, things like that, because it's so hot. Corn really is kind of done. I've harvested all mine, probably most people have. Beans, too hot for beans. So there's a lot we need to pull right now. So this time of year, if we pull stuff and then lay down this fabric, this landscape fabric, it will kill out what's underneath it, so that come September, October, when we're wanting to plant a fall garden, we can pull that up and everything will be kind of dead underneath it and give us less weeds to deal with in the fall. But being that we're pulling all that stuff, we need somewhere to put it. At home, I give it to my animals. I give it to pigs because they will eat anything. But I don't really want to haul all of it home. So we're going to make these really easy compost bins out of these trash cans. I got both of them for like $46, I think, at Ace. So I'm basically going to show you how to make a compost bin out of these. And we're going to have two up here. The reason for having two is we're going to layer it. And when it gets full, hopefully it won't get full too fast. I might have to get more. But when it gets full, it will have like composted some at the bottom, and we'll dump it all, not literally pick it up because it'll be too heavy, but we'll shovel it all into the other one and start refilling it. That way it'll kind of aerate it and help it to break down. This won't be ready for use in the fall probably, but in the spring. So the first thing we're going to do is drill holes in it because it needs oxygen to be able to break down. So it needs to be at least 1/4 of an inch. This one is a 21/64. Why do they do that? I don't understand. Anyway, so we're going to drill a bunch of holes. We're going to drill some holes in the bottom. So that it has drainage. You do want to keep it wet in there, but this is a black bin and it is Texas and it's summer, so it's gonna naturally sweat in there. Especially as things are composting, it puts off heat, and so that'll cause just natural condensation in it. But we are also going to add some water. We're going to make sure everything's wet when we put it in. Well, hopefully you can see about how far apart the holes are. Lots of holes for lots of oxygen getting in there will help things break down. So the other key is you have to put carbon in, which is like browns, dried leaves, things like that, wood chips. The smaller the better because it'll break down faster. But you have to put that in with your garden waste or food waste or whatever you're putting in there, because if you don't, it's going to stink and it's going to not break down right. So what I got is I grabbed a bag of these pine shavings. They're organic, not anything sprayed on them. That's important. So I thought this would be easy to keep up here. So this is just like pine shavings that you might use as bedding for like a hamster or something. So we're going to put that in the bottom, and some's going to come out, and that's fine, but I'm just going to kind of do a layer of it in the bottom. It doesn't have to be a super thick layer, like an inch, 2 inches max. So I'm going to go and bring it over here. I thought kind of over here would be a good place to keep it, just because it's kind of hidden from everyone. So we're going to get that wet. Now granted, obviously there are holes in the bottom, so some is going to drain out. But the key is to just have it wet. You don't want anything to be totally dry. So it doesn't have to be super wet. It's not a big deal. So now what we'll do, I, having known I was going to do this, have been throwing like rotten tomatoes and such in a bag that I have found. Anything that has like fallen to the ground and rotted after in this bag. So I'll put that in. As we're pulling things, anything that has gone bad, there was, I guess she pulled it, there was an eggplant here that was bad. But like tomatoes, that a bug has gotten into or that has fallen off and started to rot, things like that. If people want to bring food waste up here, you can do that too. Don't put in dairy and don't put in meat because those go rancid too quickly. But basically you want twice as much carbon as you do green stuff. So whenever you add your food waste in there, or green, even anything green, like if I was just pulling weeds like this, you can throw that in there. Like, you know, if you break it down a little bit, it's gonna break down faster. You can throw that in there. And for every bit of green or food waste, then add a layer of the carbon, the pine shavings. And then when you put the pine shavings in, get it all wet. So you see it's draining here, which is fine, but it's still gonna hold some moisture. And then we'll put the lid on it. We'll use a potato fork or a pitchfork about once a week. Come out here and just kind of like stab around at it to get a little more oxygen in there. And that'll break it down. When this one's full, we'll have a second one that will scoop all that too. And then hopefully in the spring, we will have a lovely compost that we can all grab a little bit of. Okay, side note of other things we can use for browns. I have been weeding right here, pulling up grass. You can barely tell. But I just laid it on top of this probably, I don't know, at least a week ago. And the sun dries it out. So now I could use this as browns in the compost bin as well. I just bought the pine shavings to kind of get us started, but there's definitely other options.